This is the first Rosh Hashanah in the Corona era, and hopefully the last. Who could ever have imagined around Purim time, when it started spreading to the Western world, that 7 months later we would be in this situation? And I want to speak about what I think is the solution to Corona, Rosh Hashanah. The solution is Corona itself. What does Corona mean? Corona, the word corona comes from the Latin coronum, which means crown, and almost all the Western languages, Spanish, French, English, all use the word crown. We in English say to coronate. Who is truly in control of our lives? For me, the fact that such a tiny, microscopic organism, which only came to the world, got its first case in the 1st of December in a province called Wuhan that nobody had heard of, and has spread to every corner of the globe, this tiny little virus, which has been able to wreak havoc in our religious, social, communal, financial lives in the most unimaginable ways. And this tiny little organism, which looks a bit like a crown, that's why it's called Corona, as we know, has indeed taught us who is truly in control. That's what Rosh Hashanah is all about. Who is truly in control of our lives? The very same God that we rendezvous with once again for the creation of the world, that we coronate in this day, is the same God who tells us, Milu ha'aretz v'kivshoha. His first command to humanity is go out there and conquer the world. Be kings and captains of your own destiny. But you can only do that when you acknowledge who created the world and who is truly in control of our destiny. And therefore, we spend the entire day with Malchut HaMelech. The main theme of the day is to coronate Hashem, the creator of the world, who is ultimately in control, is the king. And the king is the human image, which represents absolute control more than any other human image. And therefore, it's the day of coronating God as king, so to speak. And when we surrender ourselves to the king and coronate him and acknowledge that he is fully in control, that the Almighty is fully in control, then we are able, so to speak, to embark on our journey of coronating ourselves, being kings and captains of our own destiny. That's what Rosh Hashanah is all about. Coronating Hashem, acknowledging that we are not in full control. And when we acknowledge that, then that spurs us into action to know that the results we may not fully control. The circumstances aren't all at our disposal. And when we acknowledge that it is ultimately God's will and God's world, then we can begin with our mission. I want to end and say that I've never felt a Rosh Hashanah of as much unity amongst not only the Jewish people, but the entire world. 1 million dead around the world through this disease. 30 million have been sick with it. Over 1,000 dead in Israel. This is the first time that I can recall that the enemy is not something divisive. This is not an ideological or political battle which always divide within the Jewish people and within humanity. This is a Rosh Hashanah of unity. That kol ba'ei olam of rim lifnei kivnei bar, the entire humanity stands before God, all of us as one, every corner of the globe, every society, davening and wishing to do everything in our power to change our common destiny, this enemy, so to speak, which has brought us to our knees, to heal the world and heal ourselves. So it is a unified Rosh Hashanah with all the world together against this, so to speak, this tiny coronated virus which has caused so much havoc. And may it be this year, Bezrat Hashem, a year of health, a year of coronating God. And once we coronate and accept God's absolute kingship, that our will is ultimately in his hands, we will be able to have full control soon and speedily in our days over the coronavirus and return to Yemei Olam Ketikunam, the world as we knew it, uplifted, improved, and united together. Shana Tova Umetuka.